What's up, everyone?
Hello.
We are bonding over bourbon, back with a live stream. How's everyone doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I don't know if you were asking me, but I'm doing great.
I'm asking everyone, the royal you.
Yeah. What's everybody?
For those that watch the YMH studio stuff, that's where the "What's everybody" comes from. For those that don't know it, it's just fun. We like to keep it interesting here.
Yeah. We like to have some giggles, some ha-has around this house.
Yes. Yep, that's definitely a way of describing it. So we're happy to be back doing this live stream. This is one that we've been thinking about since Thunderdome.
It's my first live stream in like months.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I know. I've missed everyone.
Yeah, that was an interesting one, doing the first live stream in the studio alone. I definitely felt like I was in a much larger room, and like a little awkward.
Oh.
Felt a little awkward.
You didn't have anyone like in the room to talk to, so you felt awkward?
Well, I mean, we did have our viewers.
Yeah, well, you didn't have anyone like physically here.
Yeah.
To riff off of. It's so much easier with like two people where you can kind of just like get energy from the other person rather than just like make it yourself and you're like, all right, let's go. Yeah. I'm not that person.
Not on camera, she's not. In public, she'll walk up to a stranger and just be like, hi.
I do well with strangers when I don't have to like owe them anything. Yeah. But the minute you're like,
I'm gonna adjust one thing.
Okay. The minute you're like, oh, like you have to give them a pitch or you have to get something from them, I like clam up so quickly.
Yeah, sometimes being put on the spot is a lot.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm just kind of used to it with my line of work. But yeah, so we got a couple of people in the chat already.
I see Nick there.
Nick, happy to see you. Always love seeing you jump out of the Discord and onto one of our live streams.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. I mean, he's been so active in our Discord, which has been amazing.
Yeah, and he sent us some samples.
Yeah, I know. We need to open those up.
Yeah, we really appreciate you.
We have a bunch of samples that we need to like. Should we do a sample as our warm-up pour?
Yeah, why not?
All right, I'm going to squat while you talk.
All right. I think
that's Whiskey Land.
Let's grab Nick's sample. Let's see what we got hidden down here.
I do have a short barrel cigar batch.
Ooh, that sounds like a good one.
Right? I think that might be Nick's.
I think that is yours. Nick, the sample you sent us was the short barrel, right?
And then there's a mystery one with no label.
Yeah, I was meaning to ask you about that too.
I'm going to put that right there because I don't know what that could possibly be.
Zach McCrae, thank you so much for becoming a member of our channel. We really, really, really appreciate you. Every little bit helps. And, lets us know that we're doing the right thing and we're What happened?
Oh, there we go.
All right. Looks like we lost video for a second. That's fun.
Can everyone hear us?
We got Cigar Apostle here. We got our buddy Tony.
Hello, Tony. We're going to go on an adventure with Tony very soon.
Yeah, we are. We got Chad here.
Hi, Chad.
Chad, we're looking forward to this about as much as you are. We are we're big fans of this brand, and we really kind of owe it to Chad. He let us know about how cool and how awesome Barrelhouse is. So in a little while, we're going to have James. He's he's in charge of sales for Barrelhouse. He's really engaging, really great storyteller.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he's half the reason why we fell in love with the brand. I believe like it's equal parts. Well, it can't be equal if they're all half. 33% across the board. The product itself, Chad queuing us into it, and James just like really telling us where they came from, how they came to be, and why they're so awesome.
Right place, right time as well.
That's another story too.
That's just kind of like serendipitous. Like,
I mean, honestly, we'll go over that in a minute. Let's see who else is in the chat here. So we got Little Old Fashioned. Happy to see you.
Cheers, Little Old Fashioned.
if you guys aren't following A Little Old Fashioned, please go to his channel and check him out. He's really cool dude, really nice. Honestly, like pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Tells you his opinions, doesn't really hide it.
Which I appreciate.
Yeah. He's also very open about like, I haven't tried that. I don't know why. Maybe I need to buy it. And then he'll grab it. So go show him some love. We got David. Hello. Happy to see you.
Hi, David.
Hey there, watching, sipping Wild Turkey 8.
Nice.
Hell yeah. Love that.
That's a good pour.
What's up? Happy to see you. I hope you're excited for this. All right, so all the audio is good, thank God, because I didn't check that part of the chat. Glad you guys didn't lose power. I did for about 3 hours. Oh, I'm sorry.
Man.
You know, I worried about that the entire time that the storm was happening today. It was, for those that aren't in our area, it was pretty chaotic.
It was.
It was so loud that like you could feel the house shake.
Our dog kept going underneath my legs, and she was like, "Please save me."
Yeah. And the puppy also was dead asleep until the one that shook the house.
Yeah.
And it was just like, "Are we good?" I was like, "You're fine. Go back to sleep." And he's like, "Okay."
That was not what I had with our adult female dog.
Yeah. And then we got, what's up, Cheese?
Cheese. 1022.
1022. Happy to see you in here. So, Nick, it may have cut out earlier. I don't see it in the chat here. What's the mystery bottle you sent us? This mystery sample.
Yeah, I have no idea what it is.
I'm excited.
Do we have to try it and then he'll tell us, or do we get like to know beforehand? Because I'm really bad at guessing.
Ooh,
this one smells really good.
Yeah, this is the short barrel cigar batch.
Mm-hmm. What is everyone drinking tonight?
Yeah, see, so far we got the Wild Turkey 8-year in the chat, which is great. That's a solid sipper. This is the short barrel cigar batch number 3 that we have, 36 gauge. I don't know what that means. I'm interested. And 114 proof. So starting a little heavier on the proof. I'm never opposed to that.
It's got a punch to it. 36 gauge. Is that like when you gauge your ears?
I think 36 would be a little too big.
It's aggressive. But I have definitely seen that.
You just have a hula hoop for an ear?
I have seen that, yeah. I feel like that's kind of gone out of vogue recently. Like, I don't see it as often, but like when I was a teenager, all the time.
Sort of brush alongside Edison Park. You're lucky. It was wild. Weller 107. Hell yeah. Love that. Heavy pour of Rockcastle batch 18.
Nice. That's the best.
Honestly, I wish we were sipping that right now. But
we will be.
We will be later. That's probably going to be the cherry on top of the evening for us.
And it's going to be part of the giveaway.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I still have to do that thing. Kat, talk to the people so I can do this.
Oh, to get the banner going? I mean, there's been a lot of change here at Bonding Over Bourbon. Obviously, the set has been crazy, but we're also like expanding the reach of like liquor stores that we're going to. We have a few barrel picks coming as well that we're partnering up with a local liquor store.
Oh, so many.
Yeah, there are so many. I think there's 5.
Well, we have one coming out very soon that's going to be a Dark Arts French Oak Demerara barrel finish. Yep. It is crazy.
It is insanely good. And I feel like I'm pretty polarized when it comes to like finishing. So for me to really like a French oak, that is like just really, really hard to do. And it is delicious. It's sweet. It's tannicky. It's easy to drink. We had 5 different samples from Dark Arts to pick from, and that one just instantly stood out from the others.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am going to, where is it? Uh-oh, I got rid of everything. There we go.
Oh,
take this comment off, put this banner on, boom. Enter Barrel for a chance to win a sample flight pack from Barrelhouse Distilling Company. So like we've talked about it a lot over the last couple of months. Barrelhouse does not distribute outside of Kentucky. They are Kentucky only and Kentucky proud, which means everything comes from Kentucky. For me, that was like a huge moving target where I was like, we're doing this project. What other brands are like this? And then that kind of blew up into what Thunderdome became.
Yeah.
It was like, what cool things do people sleep on that if they knew about would just completely blow up and blow everything else out of the water?
Yeah. And if anyone hasn't seen our Thunderdome project as well, it was to focus on like a regional aspect of each part of the US. So our Kentucky edition had Burke Springs, which is also Kentucky only.
Lincoln Pinch.
Casey
Jones. We also had, what else?
Rock Castle, and we had, oh gosh, I always want to forget the last one.
I'm sure it'll come back to us.
Limestone Farms.
Oh yeah,
which we love.
Farms. Yeah. So a lot of brands that we already enjoy that we figured deserved a fighting chance to get the title of like the most underrated bottle of whiskey in the entire state of Kentucky. And again, like our qualifications where it can't get large scale distribution. They have to be making their own distillate, but if they're not making their own distillate, it has to taste like distinctly different than anything else that's sourcing that distillate.
Yeah, so if it's coming from MGP, they have to be doing something different with it.
Yeah, like either the blending process is different and it just tastes significantly different, or they're doing secondary aging or anything kind of like that. And again, like Barrelhouse was the brand that we immediately thought of when we were putting together this project. And I was like, I've heard good things. Let's go grab the bottle. Let's see if it's really as good as all the rumors that we've heard. And honestly, like just their base expression, I would put it against most like heavy hitters in Kentucky almost any day of the week.
Yeah.
And that's just for the regular small batch. So we're real happy to talk about the brand a little bit more with James when we bring him on here in about another
10-ish.
Yeah, 10 to 13 minutes. But we want to spend some time with you guys first. So let's see what else we got in the chat. We got 2 samples of the cigar batch. Okay, thank you for that.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Then I'm just gonna pour this one into this one.
Yeah, there we go. That'll be great because this might be a contender for Thunderdome for the South.
Yeah, thank you for sending that over as I scream.
Killing the Redwood Empire Pipe Dream 101. You know, we haven't tried the 101s yet. We got to get on that. I've heard that they're really good. We got CJ. Happy to see you. And we got, yeah, excited for the barrel picks. There's so many. Should we tell people what else? Okay, for those that are in our Discord, you already know this. So this is just going to be a little bit of review. But we're doing a Kentucky trip next month.
And some of these people are coming with us.
That's true. That's true. We're doing Casey Jones out in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. We're kind of treating Louisville like the inside of the Bermuda Triangle. So like we have Casey Jones down here. If you look on a map, this is probably going to be mirrored, so I apologize if that's confusing. We have down here, it's going to be Limestone Farms, and then we have New Riff. So we have like this whole area of Kentucky that we're completely skipping over, but we finally decided to spend at least one night in Louisville.
I mean, we have to.
Yeah.
It's a must. And check out like Evergreen and go to the really good Cuban restaurant that we love.
Oh, yeah. Le Boricua?
Yeah.
Or La Boricua?
It's so good.
Yeah, it's really, really good. What else we got here? We got Knob Creek 2005. That one is so good. We tried that at our buddy Parker's place.
Oh, yeah. That one is really good.
Yeah. We do some features on this other podcast with a friend of ours called Shy Spirits Guys. And the co-host for that brought his 2005 bottle.
Was that on 4th of July?
No, it was before that.
Before? Okay.
Yeah, I think it was like 3 episodes ago.
Okay. It's been a while, but I do remember it like pretty distinctly.
Yeah. If Knob Creek tasted like that all the time, I would be the biggest fan of Knob Creek, but they don't, so I'm not. What else we got? Just as a health reminder, barrel is your keyword to get you into the raffle, the drawing.
The thing?
Yeah, the
One
thing.
L.
It'll get you into the thing. And then, has anyone tried Castle and Key Naraha finish? Is on my ass to find Valencia, but wondering if that will suffice. I'm actually interested to know that as well.
Yeah, same. We have a Driftless Glen Naraha that we haven't opened yet.
Yeah, we've heard it's really good.
Yeah. The Valencia came and went very quickly in Chicago.
Yeah,
but I have seen some.
This is a good question. Thoughts on Journeymans these days?
Oh.
This is easily one of the best things that Journeyman's ever released. So this, maybe I should just grab it. So this is their Nevermore. This whole thing is like a 13-year experiment where they're blending different products that they've been making over the last 13 years. About half of it is their Silver Cross 4-grain,
yep.
Which is not a bad thing. It's about 10 years old. So everything else is like a little bit younger and a little bit lower portions of it, but it's phenomenal. It honestly like immediately won us over, and everyone we share this with, I mean, what we get like amaretto and like cherry blossom.
Yeah, there's a lot of like cherry adjacent notes to it. I wouldn't say like classic cherry notes, but like if you really like amaretto or even like E.H. Taylor,
Taylor single barrel.
Yeah, then you would probably really like this. But speaking of Shy Spirit guys too, we also revisited like the entire Journeyman line.
Well, as much of it as we could get.
Yeah, as much. In that they have like in the little samplers that come at like liquor stores.
Yeah, and then we brought this
in election day.
So they're making some good stuff. You just really have to be mindful about which one you're getting, because some of them have a little bit more leatheriness to it. Some of them definitely have what I've heard described as like the craft spirits vibe to it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hit or miss.
I really like the Corsets, Whips, and
Whiskey.
It's such a hard name for me to say.
Yep.
It's such a tongue twister.
A lot of what?
It's not even that, like my brain just like wants to stop after like the second word. That one is delicious, but also if you have someone who's like getting into whiskey, I really like the field rye because they finish it in figs, and that one's delicious.
That's
what
funny.
Are you laughing at?
You sure your Pappy Van Winkle 20 doesn't have a hole in it? It doesn't. We've shared it a couple of times.
Yeah.
We've done a giveaway with it, and one of our subscribers,
We've done 2
Mary, got a sample from us too.
Yeah.
Speaking of samples, Clint Hart has like an undefeated record for winning these things. So you guys all have your work cut out for you.
I'm rooting for you, Clint.
What else we got here? Sipping on Russell's Reserve 13 Batch 3,
nice.
Disco 11, and Spring Batch 5 to compare. All right, yeah, I'm interested to see what you think of the new batch.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know. What else we got? More barrel. Nice.
Ooh.
Uncle Near's 1865. I'm so bad with the numbers on these.
I know.
Can you remind me which one that is?
I think that's the anniversary, right?
I don't know. Tony's saying he's like a giddy schoolgirl. He's so excited. So for context, Tony is going with us on this whole barrel pick next month, like all 3 of them. So it's going to be a fun time. He's also going to spend a little time with our puppy to distract him.
Yes.
As we play chauffeur. And, I mean, honestly, we're all going to the same places. It's going to be a fun time.
There's going to be so many squeak toys in this car.
Oh, yeah. I think Tony might squeak a little, too, when he's holding the puppy.
I mean, we already know he loves corgis.
Yeah. That's kind of how we all bonded together. Whomever gets the sample pack is going to want to immediately head to Kentucky in order to get a full-size bottle. You're not wrong. We tried a single sip of it, and we're like, how many of these can we walk home with?
I'm guessing we're going to have to mule at least 1 bottle while we're down there.
Yeah, for sure. I think I saw one at D&D. I think this is for the Naranja.
Oh, okay.
Missed the Bowman cash drink by 24 hours. That's a bummer.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, and those go for crazy amounts of money right now. They just released a Double Oak Rye. Wasn't a fan of it. Are we talking about Journeyman here? We keep debating whether to buy the anniversary blend.
It might be the...
I think this is Journeyman because Austin asked us about Journeyman.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I've had their double oak stuff
before. Think so either. I don't think I've tried their anniversary blend either.
Well, this is the anniversary.
Oh, blend. This is the anniversary?
If we're talking about the same thing, that's what it is. I had a pour of the Journeyman Pits Bitter tonight. Still needing to get over for that pizza. Interesting.
The pizza is so good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Their Detroit style pizza. There we go. Yeah, their pizza's really good.
It's so good.
Not to mention all the free smells you get inside of there.
Yeah. Whiskey smells, pizza smells, cocktail smells.
Yeah, cocktails do in fact have scent.
Turns out.
Yeah. I was talking about the Journeyman and the Crazy Bird decanter. They had, oh, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's very good. It really surprised us. And like the branding is really on point. It comes in a box that's like a 13-year collaboration, or like not collaboration. It's all Edgar Allan Poe themed. It says Nevermore on it. The price was $113.13. I believe also like the proof is like 113.13. Yeah. It's honestly pretty well done.
Yeah. I mean, it's a showpiece for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Journeyman's pizza.
Who are pizza?
Horse pizza.
Not horse pizza. Yeah, the Journeyman's pizza, their Detroit style pizza is pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And then thank you so much, Little Old Fashioned. Appreciate all the support and love. Yeah, go hit the like button. Follow the channel if you're not already. You help us grow the algorithm in our favor. We have the chance to reach more people. We also had another meetup with someone recently that's going to give us a lot of reach.
I hope so.
We'll save that for another time. I'm sure their video is going to come out by the time we do another live stream, and I'm sure we might see a lot more people in the chat.
Yeah, some new faces for sure.
The price of the birdie, that was the 113.
Yeah.
Whose pizza?
Not horse pizza.
Not horse pizza. That would be a much different franchise. Anyway.
Any thoughts on this?
This is honestly very good. I think that I definitely need a cigar with this.
Yeah.
I know that that's obviously the intention. But I feel like it's good, but a cigar would probably do a lot to kind of change this.
I feel like the nose is a little funky. Like it has like some funky yeast smell to it.
Yeah.
The palate is really delicate.
Yeah.
Especially for a cigar blend, but
it's
I'm into it.
It's got like toffee on it.
Yeah.
Like toffee and light notes of chocolate.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. For the price point, it's honestly approachable. I think for cigar blend, I'm really going to have to try with the cigar to see if it like really stands up. Because for me, nothing's going to be Tanager for that.
Yeah, that one's so good.
Uncle Nearest 1856 is the black label, the premium age.
That's
one that we need to revisit. We've only really tried the underproofed ones, in our opinion, underproofed.
Like 90, isn't it like 86? Yeah.
Or 84, somewhere around there. They're good. They're just really sweet at lower proof, and we don't love incredibly sweet whiskeys that are lacking a little bit of a punch. What does it say? Bet that person is a gambling man. Yep. Yeah, a certain Mr. Gamble ran into us, and we had a good time. Last one here. Power Out in the Burbs. Oh, I'm glad we can give you a little bit of entertainment. I hope you get your power back on. And the Magnus Murray X Hill, we might be doing a single barrel of Joseph Magnus soon too. So it's gonna be a busy late summer.
Yeah. Just a reminder, everyone, too, buy backup batteries. Have them always charged.
And a generator.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like a backup battery is a little bit easier to spend money on, but yeah.
All right. So it is about time to welcome our guest here. So this gentleman, his name is James. We had a very serendipitous meeting with James when we were coincidentally trying to go and find Barrelhouse for ourselves.
At Party Source.
At Party Source, one of the largest liquor stores in the U.S. And as luck would have it, even through an extra hour and a half of rush hour traffic and a pit stop and needing to let the dog out and everything, like this ended up being the most coincidental, serendipitous meeting of our life. So we reached out when we had the opportunity to, Barrelhouse just destroyed Thunderdome for us.
Oh, yeah. It was the clear winner.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are going to introduce James to the beautiful people here. Let's see if we can get him in now.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, James. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Thank you so much for coming on. I mean, we've been huge fans of this, like Chris said, for like the minute we sipped on your product. So we would love to just like tell all the other folks in our like Discord, in our channel, just how great it is.
Yeah. From every rooftop, from every corner, just how good your product is and how completely underrated it seems to be at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you. You're going to ruin our, we're known as the little secret, so you're going to shout from the rooftops now.
Yeah. I mean, we're still a little secret too. Like our channel isn't like huge.
Yeah. So I'm sure the popularity of your brand will scale up as our channel also does. The secret is definitely kind of gone already.
Yeah.
We know a couple people that have already like pegged people to go down, and they're like, "Hey, you're going down to Kentucky. Can you grab Barrelhouse for me?"
Awesome.
And then like they'll get like the little what is that, like a
nips.
Yeah, like one of the nips, and then they'll try it, and then they'll have another friend going down. They're like, "Hey, can you bring me a bottle of that back?" So you guys, whatever you're doing is amazing, and hopefully we're going to learn a little bit more about that tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you want to give like a little background about yourself, James?
Sure. So obviously my family owns Barrelhouse Distilling, and my role is the brand ambassador. So I get to, talk about bourbon all day long and drink bourbon and share all my excitement about our brand. And so that's, what I love to do, truly. We've been doing it for several years, and our distillery's been going for 17 plus years now. So we were one of the very first craft distilleries in the state of Kentucky. And we truly believe in the art of making bourbon and spirits the old-fashioned way. So everything we do is done very in traditional style. Not, like some of the big, I would like to compare it to like some of the big boys and how they do things.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because, what you guys are doing over there, we've already kind of talked about it a little bit, but we feel like it basically just it outclasses some of the heavy hitters in this industry. Like, I would put this against Michter's any day of the week and be confident that it's going to beat, if not just their shelfers for this small batch select, but like I would say that some of these other ones could probably stand up to like a Michter's 10.
Oh, totally.
I would say like the Barrelhouse 18 could probably nip at the heels of the Michter's 20. If not destroy it, at least like meet it as like an equal contender. And, one of the things that got us really interested in your product was like all of this sort of like bourbon Bigfoot lore. I know we kind of talked about it with you, but like, we talked about it at Party Source, and we were like, brands like SLB drinks have tried it, and they like didn't really know anything about the years inside of the juice, or like the tasting notes they couldn't necessarily pull out in a tangible way, and like I think they used something like farty apricot for one of them. And then they were like, I've never had apricot before in my life. I don't know if that's even accurate. So like, there's all of these layers of misinterpretation. And like, before we get into what's in the juice itself, I'd like to learn a little bit more about like how the brand actually came to be. Like, when was the final moment that you and your family were like, we're doing this now? Sure.
It's a great story, actually. So my brother-in-law, he has a childhood friend, Pete Wright. And they've been childhood friends, since kindergarten, basically, and went to middle school together, high school together, and they were down in Florida on a fishing trip, down there drinking bourbon, playing poker, and supposedly fishing, but I don't know if there was any fishing, honestly. And of course they're sitting around going, we could do this, we could make bourbon, and they both are very, big into bourbon. They've always been into bourbon, before bourbon was cool. Let's put it that way. And they said, yeah, we could do this. And so it was actually kind of perfect timing. My brother-in-law had two companies. He had a construction company and he had a shipping company. and he had just sold his shipping company to a big player. So he kind of had a lot of free time and was like kind of in that midlife, what am I going to do next, And so it was kind of like, this is the right timing, I think. So they decided that, and I think it was around 2006 is when they actually decided, okay, let's do this. And so they started, kind of fooling around with recipes and making bourbon and all of that. And one of the big things that, because what I call us is a purist. We don't buy juice. We never kind of went that route. We've always kind of done it the long, hard, old-fashioned way. And so they started, with their own mash bills. We didn't use other people's mash bills. They created their own mash bills. And so they started kind of playing around on a real small still. And then, of course, decided to become an actual distillery. And actually, and it for many years was almost more of a passion project than it was, hey, let's make money at this. It was really just because of the love of bourbon, honestly. That is kind of where it all started. And they both are very, very passionate about Kentucky, and they're both very compassionate about the principles and the way to do things. And so for the longest time, we've been the outlier. Like, people are like, why aren't you going nationwide? Why aren't you going, why aren't you doing it like all the other guys are? And of course, now I think everything's kind of circled all the way back around where, oh, we're the ones that are actually standing out now, because we're not looking for a quick buck. We're kind of doing it, for the long game. And so that's the way we've always looked at it.
We both love that, because when it comes to like you mentioned, like the big brands, how they're doing things, we don't always love the cutting corners that kind of comes with like large scale distillation projects. And there's definitely like a novelty to doing it that way, because you can get like large scale distribution. Yeah. You can get people across the world drinking your stuff. But then there's like so much variation and inconsistency from batch to batch or crop to crop. And like, we've talked to small scale farmers that are distilling their own product that like they'll go in and like hand pick stuff that's like clearly spoiled inside of their grain. And they're like, oh, this rye looks funky, I'm throwing that away. This corn has like a little mold on it, we're getting rid of that. And you completely lose that when you shift over to large scale, because then you're basically 100%. Just like shoveling into like a furnace, so to speak. So absolutely. There's just something about the way that you guys do things that just tastes a world of difference better than, most things on the shelf, especially in the price points that all of these are at.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And again, that kind of goes back to having that same philosophy of, not trying to make a quick buck, but, trying to offer bourbon at fair pricing, at a value versus, oh, we can get, $200 for this bottle. We can get $300 for that bottle. It's not, the game that we're looking for, if that makes sense. Our reputation and how we do things is more important to us than you can ever imagine. And it sounds like you get it, which is, if you like, I can tell you a little story that kind of amplifies what you just said, but in a different perspective, if you like.
Yeah, please.
I love it.
So we, in 2008, when we became established as Kentucky's 9th physical distillery, we became one of Kentucky's very first small craft distilleries. I'm going to take you back to a time warp, back to that day. So if you think about it, back in 2008, there were only 8 distilleries in the state of Kentucky. And of course, everybody in your channel knows their names, because it was Jim Beam, Maker's Mark, Four Roses, Heaven Hill, Wild Turkey, Edwin's, Bullet, and Buffalo Trace. I think that's all of them. And that's the only brands that were in existence when we started. So we've been doing it a long time. But what was happening in the bourbon world, and again, you're going back to, mid to early 2000s, bourbon wasn't as big as it is today. And so those Kentucky bourbon distilleries that I just mentioned, most of them, not all of them, but most of them had moved out of becoming a Kentucky bourbon distillery and had now become, like you said, those international conglomerates. They went the venture capitalist route. They sold out and went, to become multi-billion-dollar companies. And their goals were different than what we set for ourselves. So their goals at that time period was to get their bourbon around the world as fast as they could. And so, and they did it. I mean, I can go to Australia and I can buy Maker's Mark. I can go to China, buy Jim Beam. I can go to Japan and buy Buffalo Trace. Like, they all accomplished it. They did a fantastic job. But two things had to happen for them to do that. The first one is they had to sell out. They had to go the venture capitalist route. So obviously Jim Beam family doesn't own anymore. It's Centauri, because all those brands I mentioned are now owned by Diageo, Centauri, Brown-Forman, Sazerac. Those are the parent companies that actually are pulling the strings on those. So when they went that route, they had to now bow down to the board of directors. And so that's kind of what that's kind of what you were saying is all of a sudden, it's not, we don't get a chance to pick which grains. It's like, where can we buy it the cheapest? How can we mass produce it the fastest? And so they had to sell out and become, a conglomerate. And then two, they gave up the family name basically, and they had to mass produce everything. So the traditional going back to making everything in single barrels and small batches was now being done mass produced on column stills. And so that's kind of one of the things that a lot of people, when they taste bourbon and they go up and down a bourbon aisle, I would say probably at least 75 to 85% of everything is made on a column still pumped out. And so there's a similarity, a mass production type thing that happens with that. And so when someone tries our products, they're like, wait a minute, this is different. This is not like something else I've really had before. There's something that they're doing that's different. And it's those little features that you're talking about as far as hand selecting grains and hand selecting water and, the little details that we do. And there's literally dozens of them that seem like they might be so insignificant, but it's an advantage that we have being as small as we are, that when you get big, you can't do,
Yeah. Yeah. I love the passion behind the product. Like, this definitely does not smell like anything I've had before. No. It has such a different, nose quality to it. If someone put it in front of me and I didn't know what I was drinking, I probably couldn't pinpoint, even the spirit. I would be like, maybe it smells like a fancy rum or something else. It really is,
or like a really old cognac,
or a really old cognac. Yeah, it's perplexing.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, we love a spirit that not only has a good story behind it, but also, quite frankly, gives a shit about what they're doing. Because, I mean, as you mentioned, your Jim Beams, your Maker's Mark, your Buffalo Trace, they all have their merit, and that's not really going away. But to see a brand like yours that's absolutely crushing it, this is the most approachable bottle in our collection. And anytime people try telling me or asking me, because I work in hospitality, what do you think is the best value bottle under $50? And my immediate fire from the hip response is Barrelhouse. But
but you won't find it.
Yeah, but you're never gonna find it here. You gotta go to Kentucky. And for some people that's a really hard sell. So I really like to kind of plug you guys with bottle share parties.
Sure.
People that I know are already inclined to be in that kind of lifestyle where they're like, oh, I'm going to go down to Louisville next week. I'm going to go to Lexington. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. I'm taking a trip to Jack Daniel's. Those are the people that are already traveling because they have the passion behind enjoying and trying and collecting. And every single time I show it to someone or we show it to someone at a party, they're like, what the hell is this? Why is this so good?
Yeah. I mean, kind of to tap on that. So, obviously the most common question I get asked is, why Kentucky only? And again, that kind of goes to the passion that we have is that we are a very small craft distillery. We make everything in 2 rooms on 2 stills currently. And, we make 9 different products on those 2 stills. Yeah. But we can only produce so much. And rather than trying to play in that field of trying to compete and be the Jim Beams, the makers and what have you, we just said, we're okay doing what we do. That's kind of our story and who we are. And and so those core principles that we stuck with from 17 years ago of keeping it family owned and operated, being Kentucky proud, making everything by hand and not mass producing, not going to a column still. I mean, we could have upped production easily, 10 years ago by just pulling out our pot still and putting in a column still. But those were important principles to us. We didn't want to pull away from.
It's funny that you mentioned pot still, because Kat and I are, like, for the most part, pretty adverse to a lot of pot still whiskeys.
It always has like a specific, like, a flavor that you can't pinpoint.
Yeah.
And it's hard to like know what it is until you've had a lot of pot still.
But your product, we don't get like a single like inkling that that's how it's made. It's
interesting.
It's just done in a way where it's like it more so enhances the flavor than gives you like a calling card for it.
Yep.
It just integrates into your product in such a beautiful way that, I mean, I don't even think about that when I drink it. I honestly, like, we already poured this while you were talking, just to kind of refresh our memory and to go over some flavor notes. But like, it's just so easy to drink. I mean, like, this is already half empty, and this is like maybe our third bottle that we've had. A lot of it's going to bottle shares and samples and stuff like that. But like, we've given a bottle away to somebody that we know will love it, and they immediately were just like, holy fuck, that slaps. So like, it clearly shows that even though you're doing things in a way that, like, yes, are conventional, like using a pot still and things like that, depending on the kind of route that you want to go, but also like you're doing it in such a mixture of like a little modern and a little traditional, and like really putting your values at the forefront of it, which very much shows, especially with the Kentucky Proud process.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I really, really appreciate those. Are really kind words that really mean a lot to us. So for those people that don't know what Kentucky Proud means, I'm sure there are some people out there that don't know what that means.
Yeah.
There's a organization, I'll call it, that you can be certified as Kentucky Proud. And basically what it means is that, and it's in like food products, it's in you see it mainly in food products, but obviously we did it with our spirits, way back 17 years ago. Basically means that to make that product, we only use products that we purchase or that are made here in Kentucky. And so, again, I'm going to probably keep doing this. I'm going to tie back to that story that I just shared about going back into 2008 when we started. The other thing that was different about, us compared to the big boys is that, again, when you get a venture capitalist involved, a board of directors or whatever, they're going to penny pinch. They're like, we can save money here, we can do it this way. And so they obviously started, they were known as Kentucky Bourbon Distilleries, but their headquarters was in Japan. Their products were all around the world, and they were buying their barrels from, out west and getting their grains from out west. And so they weren't really supporting the state. And so it was really important to us to make sure that how we run our distillery is that we're going to say thanks to get back to Kentucky and say, okay, we will use Kentucky grains, Kentucky water, Kentucky barrels. And that's how our products are made, is with using those Kentucky products. And so it just became a really important thing to us.
Yeah. I think the interesting thing about that too is like all of the ingredients getting sourced from Kentucky. So not only are you helping like local businesses, the farmers and everything, like the majority of Kentucky's money is coming from tourism. So you want like other people to flourish other than just like a tourist environment.
Yep. Yeah. Because again, going back in that, 17 years ago, there was no tourism. Like people would show up at our distillery and they're like, can we look? And we're like, what do you want to see? Like, we're just making bourbon, it was kind of funny back then, but of course it's changed. So, again, having those principles, designed back then, and now it makes more sense because people they want to come to Kentucky to see distilleries and see how we do things. And we appreciate that, obviously. I mean, that's, a huge part of our business as well.
Totally.
For sure. And that leads me to sort of like a two-pointed question here. So first, what were some of the barriers to starting the distillery, not only in a time that was kind of predated like the boom of the bourbon tourism scene, and also I heard a little bit about your Elkhorn Tavern. I'd love to know like which came first and how they both kind of like developed with or like separately from each other.
Absolutely. So when we started, first of all, I'm going to kind of draw a picture for people that have never been to our distillery before.
Yeah, please.
We're in an old distillery, about 200 years old. There's a lot of history in our buildings. And it was an old distillery that sat vacant for about 50 years. And before we bought the buildings, they were old, abandoned, broken windows, homeless people living in the buildings. It was not in a great part of town. And we came in and bought up some of the first buildings. We didn't buy up the whole distillery. We only bought up some of the buildings and started making bourbon. We basically were the first, one of the first to make bourbon in Lexington, Kentucky in 50 years. So, of course, everybody knows Louisville. They know Bardstown. But we kind of started on the Lexington side. And we did that for 7-8 years, probably, with no neighbors. So we were down here making bourbon and spirits. And kind of a little side note, we make 9 different products that we currently distribute in Kentucky. We did it the old-fashioned hard way. We made rum, vodka, and moonshine, and produced that because it was quick to pull off the still and get on the shelf and sell while we're waiting for our bourbon to age. So we didn't call up MGP or anything like that. We kind of started making our other products so we get some cash flow going.
And as kind of an aside to that, you let us try a majority of those when we were at Party Source, and even your non-bourbon stuff is like miles ahead of most things that we've tried.
The rum is so good.
Yeah, it is.
It's so good. It is really good.
So it just shows like the testament of how good you're doing even non-whiskey things that allow you to continue to grow your bourbon program.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I mean, thank you. I mean, that's, so we perfected our vodka 17 years ago, so we now make one of the smoothest vodkas sold in Kentucky. It's a really, really good vodka. So that's kind of what we did for 7-8 years. We really didn't have any signage down here. People really didn't know that we were down here. And so we didn't need marketing. Again, kind of goes back to that time period where people weren't really visiting the trail like they are today. And so the distillery was first, to answer the question. There was a law change that happened that allowed us distilleries to be able to put a tavern or bar in connected to our distillery. That law changed, I think it was 2017. So the tavern we own, Elkhorn Tavern, which is connected to our distillery, the Elkhorn Tavern at Barrelhouse, and that came in around 2017-ish. It's very well known now. So people love to come visit the Elkhorn Tavern. We do, we like to say we're a tavern with food. We're not a restaurant with a bar. We like to make that very clear. We're not doing four course meals. We do light sandwiches and soups and a lot of the traditional stuff, that you'd find at a distillery. We were awarded one of the best burgoos in the state of Kentucky. So if you're looking for a tradition, distillery tradition, that's a really good one.
Nice.
We make corn muffins out of our own mash. So, right? Yeah, they're fantastic. Have about 5-6% alcohol in them. So a little treat there.
Well, I know where we're going.
So yeah, the tavern came afterwards. And it's funny because being out in the market, I'm in the market 7 days a week, and people won't know Barrelhouse, but they'll know the tavern. People know food. And they're like, so I'll be in a liquor store pouring a sample or something. And they're like, where are you at? And I'm like, we're in Lexington. They're like, oh, we're at Lexington. I'm like, oh, we're in the Lexington Distillery District. We were the pioneers that started it. And they're like, oh, I love that place. We go down there all the time. And then I'm like, have you been to the Elkhorn Tavern? Oh, we love the Elkhorn Tavern. I'm like, you've been to Barrelhouse then. so we're kind of like, again, it just kind of follows suit with that little hidden gem secret that people are shocked to find out about. So, yeah.
That's great. And that really does kind of double down on the idea of feeling like one of the best kept secrets. It's right in plain sight, and people are focusing on the tavern that's essentially right next to it instead of looking at the really awesome operation that's happening behind it. And this is why we were so kind of enthralled with your product. It's the idea of finding something that's right in front of you that you just never notice. It's like trying to stare at your own nose. And the second that you realize it's there, it's sort of like, oh yeah, this thing is actually like, this is a great thing to have. Like without a nose, you couldn't smell whiskey. You couldn't enjoy the aroma of everything coming, probably wafting into the tavern. So like, we just find it so funny that like people can just kind of overlook something so amazing just because they don't know, or their eyes are just down the whole time and they're focused on something else. So we've really enjoyed the opportunity to talk with you about this for that reason alone, and also like to give you guys the love that I know you deserve.
Yeah. The one thing too that like I think we love is bourbon hunters. I call us bourbon gatherers because we're not really hunting anything.
I like bourbon foragers.
Bourbon foragers, yeah, is even better. But I think that like the point that Chris had, like finding those things that people are always overlooking instead of like going straight for a Buffalo Trace product. Why aren't you trying something else? And it's so easy to overlook when there's so much competition already on the shelves. You really do have to stand out. And I think that you guys do a really good job of like word of mouth, like in how it sounds like when we were talking, like some of your expressions are like in and out of the shelves, like within hours, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We've been very blessed with that. I mean, it's, we, as you can kind of tell, nothing against some of the brands out there, but a lot of people, they're playing that, you know, they may not have a distillery. They haven't spent millions of dollars on a distillery, but they're spending millions of dollars on marketing and advertising. And so that's how they get their brand recognized. And so people see it, you know, oh, I saw, you know, on Facebook, this brand, that's the best brand ever, you know, and that's just how they do it. And, you know, we just never went that route. You know, everything's been natural and organic with us. And that's just kind of who we are.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something said about like either doing word of mouth. I went to school for advertising, so that's my degree. I never used it, but I know a lot about it. So just using like creative ways to get like the word out is such a powerful move. I think like if you haven't looked up what I think it was Burger King did recently, they had like an app, and any billboard that like you put it up to that was like a McDonald's or a Wendy's, it would like make it all fiery, and then it would replace it with like a Burger King one. And it's like, use those creative things that really doesn't cost a lot of money to get your word out. And like even just using social media is so powerful, especially now. So like just keep having people talk about you, and the more you're going to expand.
Well, speaking of expansion, I will use that moment right now. We are in the process of completing our second distillery.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you all knew about that. So we bought a piece of property in Cynthiana, Kentucky, which is about halfway from Lexington to Cincinnati. If you're driving from Lexington to Cincinnati, it's about the halfway point.
Okay.
And so we have 30 acres out there that we are putting our rick houses and our distillery out. Rick house is complete. That's actually where all of our barrels are, you know, stored currently. The still house is complete for the most part, and equipment's been delivered. And we are currently, they're putting the floor in, the concrete floor in. I think it's this week, and then it has to cure for about 2 weeks. Once that cures, then we start setting up equipment. So we should be filling our first barrel out there hopefully in the next month or two.
That's awesome.
So we're getting real close. Yeah, getting real close.
So that was definitely one of the questions that we had on our list to ask you is like, what does the future look like for you guys? So we're going to kind of weave a couple other questions a little bit later on for you, kind of building off of that.
Yeah.
But does that mean that you guys are looking to just kind of upscale production? Are you looking to create like an entirely new line of products over there, or both, or neither?
So sure. So one, we're going to keep our Lexington location, so we won't give that up, just to let everybody know. So we'll always be here. We'll always have the tavern. The plan is we are very lucky that we're not, again, I hate keep always making comparison to the big boys, but it's the only easy way I can do it. So,
take them down.
Yeah.
I don't want. No. We're all good friends. I don't want to, come from that direction. But
all
the thing
of
that
our fans know that we kind of have this like split mentality of like big brands are good, but they're not the best.
Yeah.
Small brands are where you should focus because they're doing different things.
Yes. So the one area where we've been really, really lucky is we are sitting on 60 rec houses full of product that we can't get rid of. We have actually had the opposite problem. We've actually our sales have always kept right up with our production, and so that's been a really great thing for us. But we have hit that point where we need to up our production is the bottom line. And if you've not visited us, again, we make everything in 2 rooms. It's a very, very small craft distillery. So what our plan is to be able to move all 9 products or 8 products out to Cynthiana and be produced out there. And you ready for this? This is the exciting part.
Yeah.
In Lexington, we will make just Rockcastle.
Yeah.
So there is hope that there will be more made.
Give the people Rockcastle.
We are going to give the people what they've been asking for.
Oh my
God.
I mean, honestly,
so
so good. It's so good. We've tried, I think, 3 different releases. I think you let us try batch 17.
Yeah.
We found batch 18. We went on a mission after we talked to you, and we hunted down one liquor barn that had like a case of it that didn't have it on like a limit 1, and I was like, we're getting at least 2, right?
Well, the funny thing too is we went into that liquor barn and we were like, "Hi, do you have Rockcastle?" And the guy at the counter was like, "Hey, Bill, I think it's in the back. Like, you have to go into the room to get it."
And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's in the cage back there." And then this guy's like trying to hook us up, and then the store owner's like, or the manager's like, "Oh, I don't know if I've heard that brand." He's like, "Yeah, it's in the back. It has the horse on top of the thing, like it's in this crystal bottle." And I was like, "Oh, you're talking about Rock Hill Farms?" And he's like, yeah, we have one in the back. And the manager,
yeah, let me have one of those too.
Kind of like, no, don't. And we're both looking at each other, and we're like, I don't give a shit about Rock Hill Farms. I was like, I want to get Rockcastle. Like, do you guys have it?
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then he goes and takes us over to the shelf, and there's like 6 of them sitting in the shelf. When every other liquor barn we went to, every other store that we went to, they were all completely gone.
And we were like, "Is there a limit?" And they're like, "No. Why?"
So we've sent some people over there to go and like pick up whatever's left, and that would definitely be our guy here, Chad. Yeah, he's like half.
You're the man.
Why we know about you guys.
That is awesome. So for everybody else, let me kind of expand on that a little bit so they understand the rarity of Rockcastle.
Yes,
you all hyped it up, so we appreciate it. We only release it twice a year. Each release we do, we only make about 1,000 bottles. Out of that 1,000 bottles, we divide it up into 3 different sections. A third of it we put in our gift shop, and we sell it out of the gift shop. It gets released twice a year. There's 2 specific dates. Y'all can write them down if you want. It's April 15th and October 15th. Those are the 2 dates. Yes, 2 tax days. So you can't forget. Pay your taxes and then come get a bottle of Rockcastle to celebrate.
I'm down.
Or back. Either or.
And so those are the 2 release dates. We do have a huge fanhood. People literally fly in from everywhere to get it. I mean, it's fun to watch when it gets released because literally the people that are flying in from, Wisconsin and all around the United States and what have you, people put it on their calendar and they're like, "I'm planning my trip around this. I'm going to go get some Rockcastle." I'm normally at the distillery on release date, and it's fun to watch, kind of like what you're talking about with Chad. there'll be sometimes a short little line when we open up the doors, and you'll hear people talk, and they're like, I don't know, my sister told me to come down here. I don't know, my uncle told me to come down. So like people are in line, they don't even know what they're in line for, but they were like, someone told them, go down and get some Rock Castle for us.
Right.
Which is kind
trying to get multiple heads
fun.
There so they can get as many bottles as possible.
Exactly. But those two releases, we only make about 1,000 bottles. Like the last batch was 1,188 bottles. But we split into thirds. So a third goes to the gift shop and we sell out of that. Once it's sold, you won't see it at our distillery for another 6 months. So it's gone and then you can't get it. A third of it we put into our tavern. So we take a third of it and put it on the Elkhorn Tavern. And that normally lasts us about 6 months. So therefore we can pour it over there. If you ever visit our distillery, you can come to the tavern, try Rock Castle, you get a pour of it, and then you're going to go on the hunt looking for it. That's the bottom line. That's what happens. And then a third of it we give to our distributor. So that equates to about 450 bottles. That's it. 450 bottles twice a year. Now, for you people that are not from Kentucky or familiar, the Liquor Barn is one of our liquor store chains that's here in Kentucky. There are 23 liquor barns. They're one of our better customers. And they, normally will get, probably a case for each store. So normally if they get 6 bottles, they're lucky. And of course, as you said, they crack it open, they put it on the shelf and it's gone pretty quick. Or sometimes they kind of, will hold back or what have you, keep it back with the allocated stuff. It is an allocated bourbon. So that's kind of the story on Rock Castle.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, you just made me so excited to know that the Lexington site is just going to be pumping out some of the best stuff we've ever had. I mean, that's amazing news, not only for us, but also for like the people that are watching this that have been hearing like the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot stories that we're sharing. Where like you got to find it. You can only find it in this one spot twice a year, and it's not around for long. Like it's some of the best stuff you'll ever have, and like now people don't have to worry about like, I mean, obviously I'm sure it'll still go pretty quickly.
Oh, I'm sure.
But it's at least creating a dynamic where they're like, okay, I don't have to have a borderline panic attack trying to get this.
The day it comes out, I have to drop every plan.
Yeah. If I show up the day after or like maybe later on in the week, I might still be able to find some, which is great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that's the one thing that like the whiskey community has going is like just that urgency. Like there's always FOMO that you're going to miss out constantly, and to like expand what you're making makes it so much easier on the people who want to have it as well. Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
And that's what we're cracking open right now. I'm going to add just a little bit more.
So I was sipping on the regular Barrelhouse Select, and it is proof down. What is the proof of the
90?
90. I feel like it is a little bit harder to pull out like the notes of that, but it's still like such an easy pour to drink.
It's sweet, it's light, it's refreshing. It's overall like pretty awesome and complex considering it's only 90 proof.
Yeah, but the cast strength, I instantly smelled it and I'm like, figs. It's figs all day. Yeah. It's
unbelievable nose.
And these ones are super limited too, right?
They are. So that is an allocated bourbon as well. Before I talk about that one, I'm going to go back to the small batch since you've already kind of poured and talked about that.
Okay.
Of course, the big question a lot of people never ask, which I like to share, is that there's no definition of small batch, but our small batch is a blend of 3 barrels.
Woo.
That's it. So that blue label is 3 barrels and 3 barrels only.
Wow.
So it is a very, very small batch. And that blue label is the one that is our flagship bourbon. It is available all year long here in Kentucky. So like you said, that one you can pretty much find at most liquor stores, throughout Kentucky. The green label, on the other hand, is a single barrel cast strength, and we only distribute it. You can't buy it at the distillery. So that's another one that you can't even come here and buy. You got to kind of find the open market. But we only distribute 1 barrel a month for the entire state of Kentucky.
I'm doing my best Vanna White here for you.
There you go. So
handwritten even too, like how many barrels.
yes.
I'm hoping that this is focusing in right, but
it's a little dark, but it's okay.
Sorry about the blurriness, guys.
So obviously what you were trying to share with, and you can notice, is that they are numbered bottles. And so once a month, one barrel typically ranges in that 200 to 225 bottles. And that's it. That's all that gets distributed. And so that gets trickled throughout Kentucky as well.
That's insane.
Yeah. And this one, I remember when we tried this with you, we thought about it and we're like, wow, this like has so much more character like on the finish, but like some of the like mid palate kind of switches a little bit. I don't really get so much like the kind of sweet, like
butterscotch.
Yeah, butterscotch kind of like touch toffee vibe. This one has like fruit notes to it. It's got like darker fruits. Like I maybe get like
dark cherry.
Yeah, dark cherry, fig. Which is like a really great foundation for a whiskey, because when you think about like most barrel proofs that are out there, there's obviously like the heavy hitters like your Stags or like your E.H. Taylors, things like that. I don't mean to only name Buffalo Trace things, but those are the two that come to mind immediately. But then you get into like other brands that are just like so two-dimensional. But like this has so much character and it has so much life. I've never had such like a fruit forward barrel proof anything that also wasn't cloyingly sweet.
True.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. And it doesn't, I would say with our single barrels, normally, they're normally around 121 proof and they don't taste like 121 proof. Like the flavor almost outpowers the heat, in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah. I agree. There isn't a lot of like burn or hug or anything. It's just like an easy sipper.
Yeah. And this one's 59.4. So I would expect at least like a little bit of pepperiness to it, but no, none.
Yeah. It's wild.
It's really, really good.
Do we want to kick it over to some of the chat?
Yeah. Before we kick it over to the chat, I think one of the things that we haven't talked about yet is how old is most of the product that's going into either the small batch or the single barrel?
Sure. So thanks for asking that, by the way. So you were talking about earlier the misinformation that's out there, and it's always been our battle, especially with like the book writers. I think that there's a lot of old information on the internet, and we just received a book, actually, it was yesterday. A writer had sent me a book. It was a bourbon book. And I'm like, they got this information. They had Rockcastle as a rye bourbon. They had it as only 2 years old. And I'm like, please. So anytime I can correct the information, I'm like happy about. So all of our bourbons, and how we do it is we do it off of what's called flavor profiling. So we're not real concerned about the age. We're actually looking for very specific flavor profiles. So we kind of work in reverse to what, again, I hate to say it, but in reverse to what the big boys do. If you're not familiar with how flavor profiling works, so the big boys, when they do a dump, Wild Turkey, let's say, they dump 50,000 barrels at a time. So they'll dump 50,000 barrels at a time. Some of them are ready, some of them aren't, but it really doesn't matter because the mass quantity of that, it's going to come out in the wash, basically. And it's going to balance out. When we talk about like our blue label, that's only 3 barrels. You better make sure you pick the right 3 barrels because you can't. So we're looking more for the flavor profile than we are anything. And of course, the single barrel, we're doing that 1 barrel a month. So we want it to be a very special barrel. And so we're again, honing in on very specific flavor profiles. All of our products are not age stated because they're all over 4 years old. And so typically all of our products are in a window of about 4 to 6 years. That's kind of where the sweet spot is for our products. And I'm going to use this moment, public announcement. I'm going to take this time to use that one of my biggest misconceptions that people think is that an older bourbon is always better. And coming straight from a distillery, I'm going to tell you that's not the truth. And the reason why I can say that is that our Barrelhouse Select, the blue label and the green label, they're the same mash bill. We actually do a 10-year version of that. and it actually does get really, really good.
Wow.
So it's a fantastic bourbon. The only problem is we only release it every 10 years. So it's a very, very limited release bourbon, but it's a phenomenal bourbon. It's a really, really good. So it gets really good with age. The Rock Castle that you all are huge fans of, we actually try to keep it under 6 because it actually kind of goes wonky, goes a little funky.
Okay.
After 6. So we know that it actually doesn't. Yeah.
This
so it actually doesn't.
And it's under 6 years old.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? So yeah, I mean, so we're looking more. We're not age chasing. We're actually more interested in the actual flavor profile. And again, this is kind of why we do what we do and what separates us from some of the others. And so yeah, so all products, all 3 of those are all between 4 and 6. The small batch you now know is 3 barrels. The single barrel is obviously a single barrel, and then Rock Castle is normally a blend of either 5 or 6 barrels, and they all range. So there might be a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 6-year-old in that batch. But and to understand that, and most of your bourbon drinkers will probably appreciate and understand this. When we taste a barrel, we can taste a 4-year-old barrel and be like, "That's perfect. That's what we're looking for right there. That's the flavor right there." We can taste a 5-year-old barrel and be like, "Let's wait till year 6 on that one." So that's why there's a range versus just it being a 5-year-old bourbon or a 6-year-old bourbon or a 4-year-old bourbon. We're actually, trying to get to that flavor profile that we want.
Totally.
I love this comment
Don't
here.
preach on the young Jews. I mean, yeah. Sometimes, like, I've tasted like 12-year-old whiskey and it's just meh. But I've tasted like 2-year-old whiskey and you're like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
And we've also done like barrel picks where the person that's ultimately signing the check to grab the barrel, they're like, I think this is good, but I think it needs another year in a barrel. And we're both like,
don't do
like this is kind of the peak for it. And then they wait that year and then they're like, yeah, this definitely went wrong somewhere. And it's about knowing the quality of it when you taste it. Obviously, we don't know nearly as much as you do being down in it every day.
Yeah,
but like we still have that like sixth sense now of like, if you let this go any longer, something is going to happen to this. It has the right amount of balance of wood. It has the right amount of balance of like tannic versus sweet. Like if you let this keep going, you're going to ruin it.
Yeah.
And
you got to take it out or at least put it in like a steel drum or something.
Yeah. Or like a vat.
Yeah.
So like, I love that you guys are, in a manner of speaking, kind of keeping your ear to the barrel and just be like, what's it saying? Is it ready yet? Like, is now the time to pull it out?
Are you ready yet?
Because not a lot of places will do that. And even like the big guys, like Buffalo Trace will forget about barrels for like 6 years and then just be like, oh, well, this is really off profile. So we just have to dump this into a single barrel now. And like, that's cool up to a point. But like, if you think about the quality of what was in there before they let it go too long, that's like the difference between like an award-winning thing versus something that quite frankly isn't very good. And it kind of sounds like you guys keep your finger on the pulse a lot, which is great because you have all the storage, I'm assuming, pretty close to you guys, or do you keep some off storage as well?
So we've always had it off-site storage. And so being in Lexington, the county that we're in doesn't allow you to store barrels. So we've always had to have off-site storage. And of course, like I said, now all of our barrels are in Cynthiana. So, but I do have a funny little side story I'd like to share with you that kind of tags onto what you just said.
Yes, please.
Because I used to make fun of those kind of like those Buffalo Trace stories, like, oh, we found a barrel in the corner, and I'm thinking, yeah, okay, whatever. Until it happened to us. And as being as small as we are and thinking that we have like our hands on every barrel and we know everything, we found a barrel one time and we're like, what is this? Like, what in the world? And sure enough, it was one of our rums, our oak rum that you like. And it was 13 years old.
13 years old.
Yeah,
Jesus.
13 years old. It was a phenomenal product. I mean, phenomenal. And of course, it was one barrel. It was a one-off. Obviously the evaporation, did really damage on it, but a fantastic product. So now I'm like, because I used to not believe those stories until till it happens to you. You're like, okay, maybe that can happen then, because it happened to us.
I mean, think
we're
about
small.
like the amount of like real estate that like these large distilleries have too.
I can't imagine.
I would also forget about barrels.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm kind of envious I'm assuming all gone by now.
I know. I feel like I need to try the 13-year-old rum.
I believe it's come and gone. I don't know if we have. I don't even think we have any on the tavern.
That's a bummer.
If I could round some up, yeah. If there is any around, I'll get you a pour.
Yeah, if you could get another barrel, that would be great.
Well, it's again, I can say that product got better with age. I mean, that was one of those ones that was like. And what we're talking about for everybody out there is our oak rum. It's an award-winning product, and it is a barrel-aged rum that tastes just like bourbon. It's basically like a light, sweet bourbon. It does not taste like rum. It's truly a Kentucky rum because it tastes like bourbon.
We can confirm. You had us try a sample, and like I remember having the glass and then just looking at you and being like, "You're lying." But no,
it's a fun product.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, let's open up to the chat here a little bit. I think we only have a couple other personal questions after that, but this has been great so far. We love doing this with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And you're such a natural storyteller. It makes this whole process a lot easier.
Appreciate that.
And then I think maybe we covered this, but maybe not so much the history.
Okay.
Where did the Rock Castle idea start from?
Sure. So Rock Castle is a county in Kentucky. And I'm going to give you kind of an expanded story on this. You now know that we're a Kentucky proud company. And one of our secret sauces in our products is our water, the limestone water that we use. And again, this will kind of highlight the benefit that we have as being a small craft distillery versus a big boy. In that we get all of our limestone water from a natural spring down in Rock Castle County, and which is about an hour and a half from us. And how we get our water is we literally have a 250-gallon tote that we throw in the back of our pickup truck, and we drive down to our water source. It's surrounded by natural forest, Daniel Boone Park Forest, so it's kind of untouched by man, and it is phenomenal limestone water. It's truly, kind of our secret sauce, honestly, for our products. And so obviously that's where the name came from, was the Rock Castle. Rock Castle has always been kind of our main bourbon that we're known for, because and it's a wheated bourbon. Both my brother-in-law Jeff and his partner Pete are big, wheated bourbon guys, and so that's really what they wanted to make when they first started out. And when we first started out, we had the two bourbons. We have our Barrelhouse Select, and then we have our Rock Castle. And honestly, a lot of people ask us, why can't we get more Rock Castle? And I think we've kind of answered it, but I'm going to just kind of reiterate it. We really aren't big enough to make both bourbons full time all year long, was the bottom line. And we haven't been able to do that with everything that we do. And so we had to kind of pick and choose. So we're not, manipulating the market or whatever. We can only produce what we can produce. And so we decided to make Barrelhouse Select our all year long bourbon, and then make enough, for those 2 batches a year of the Rock Castle. And so it kind of became the one that became allocated and became a fanhood and all that. But hopefully with our new distillery, we're going to change that.
Definitely.
My friend, now that we know that this is a weeded release, I'm going to tell you, this is trash in comparison. I've never been one that's quick to dog on Antique 107, because for a lot of people it's kind of like the gold standard. This at a slightly older age statement has significantly less quality and finish than either of these.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. I mean, a little, some things to go along with it. Rock Castle, Forbes magazine named to be one of the top 8 best bourbons that come out of Kentucky. It's only sold in Kentucky.
Full send agree.
Yeah. All of our products are award winning, so we don't have a product that hasn't won awards. The Barrelhouse Select won double gold at San Francisco.
Nice.
The Rock Castle has won double platinum at the Ascots.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So they're all fantastic bourbons. They really are.
Yeah. They're insanely good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that you also say that like the water is the secret sauce, and that's not the like first time I've heard that from a distillery as well. Like that's so common with like Jack Daniel's.
Yeah, that's like half their story.
Yeah, it was just built around the water source, and I think like when they sold it, they were like, "Oh, we might move like the location." He's like, "I will fucking kill you."
Right?
Like,
I mean,
no.
it's really that important. It's really that important.
Yeah, you really do need that like limestone rich water, because when you're just cutting it with trash, you kind of know.
Well, I mean, yes. I mean, and that's truly it. I mean, kind of going back to what I was saying, I mean, that's again also the benefit of being a small craft distillery is that we actually, go down and drive them on a day and spend an hour and a half driving somewhere to fill up water, then turn around and drive back another hour and a half just to get that water. Like, can you imagine, the Jim Beams, the makers, sending the water boy out to go get water? Like it would never, like,
they today, would never.
I mean,
they'd be like, get a tank and a water hose and that's it.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, it is, it's really that important to us. Of course, the other big question people always ask us is, will you still use that water in Cynthiana? And we're like, absolutely. Like that's, that will not change. That's really, really important to us. Matter of fact, this is our water right here.
Nice.
Do you sell it at the distillery too?
We do. We sell bottles of it. Yeah.
Nice.
I feel like a missed opportunity with marketing, because I've seen those at like liquor stores. It's just
about like the pre-bottled limestone water.
Yeah, the limestone water is just to put in a dropper, like a dropper bottle, and then charge like $5 for it. I'm like,
per drop.
I will buy that instead of like a giant water bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it really is. It's an important piece. A lot of people. So I went to a meeting for our association. It's called the Kentucky Distillers Association. I was at a meeting, and Louisville Water is a big provider of water for all of the Louisville distilleries, and it was kind of fun. They did a water tasting, a blind tasting, and they literally, just like you would think at a bourbon tasting, had a mat down. They had Devani and all the different brands of water, and of course their water was in there as well. And I will tell you, when you sit down and they had you taste it just like you would bourbon, smell them, they all smelled different. They all had different viscosities. They all tasted. Some were real high in chlorine. You could just like hit your nose on it. I mean, it was crazy to see how different all those waters really were. And so water is kind of a key important part.
Yeah, I grew up with well water, so you definitely know the difference between well water and different water.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of doing a water tasting.
I know, I love that too. I mean, everyone trashes, what is it, Dasani? Like Dasani is not good. And everyone like just leaves it on the shelf. But like your like premium water bottle like brands that you want to pick out. And that's because it tastes better, or it has a better viscosity, so it makes sense with like bourbon too.
Yeah.
Cool. We have a couple more comments here that have questions. You're going to see a lot from Chad. He's your biggest fan besides us.
Thank you, Chad.
I think you kind of covered this one. Has the distillery always been in the James E. Pepper complex, or when did you guys move there?
So yes, we've always been down here. This is always where we've been. Obviously, we were the kind of the pioneers that revised this area. So this was, like I said, abandoned buildings. No one had been down here. Businesses haven't been down here for 50 some years. And the other thing I'll go ahead and take the time to correct now is that this distillery was not just the James E. Pepper Distillery. A lot of people will refer to it today, and I like to not take anything away from James E. Pepper because there was a brand that's been revitalized again with being James E. Pepper, and they're our neighbor. But this distillery was like multiple different other distilleries. There was Henry Clay Distilling down here. The one that I like to refer to, because it really shows you the time and the age of bourbon and how old, is the Shinley Corporation bought the distillery after James E. Pepper closed and bought the brands off of James E. Pepper. And so they were actually operating down here. So Ancient Age was made down here. Cream of Kentucky was made down here. A lot of the products that you would think of as Buffalo Trace, or Stag was made down here, were made here first, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm glad that you said Ancient Age because that's easily like my favorite bottom shelf sipper.
I know he's such a fanboy for that one.
Like I'm constantly going on like the auction sites and I'm looking for like Ancient Age from like the 80s and the 90s. Yeah. I have the 10-star. My dream bottle is to get the 10-year. Like when I say I look for value in the commonly overlooked, like I truly mean it. And that's why like your brand really stood out to us because nobody I know, no tater, no advanced whiskey drinker, no like intermediate person was really like even paying attention because they're only focused on like the big brands that are fine. Like at the end of the day, they're always going to be slightly above average, but they're not going to be as superb or excellent as anything that we've had from you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We really appreciate that. That means it means a lot to us. I mean, it really does. That's why we do what we do. Is just the passion is fueled by that, those type of statements. So thank you.
Yeah,
of course. One side note too, when Chris and I first started dating, I went down to Louisville with some friends, and he's like, "Can you bring back Ancient Age and Green Label Heaven Hill?" And I was like, "I can try."
But that was also like early pandemic, so like they weren't really around anymore because in the middle of all their like stimulus check catering.
I succeeded though at both.
You did.
Yeah, I was good even when I didn't know what I was searching for.
Yeah.
I think I kind of helped with that too because I would be in liquor stores all the time and people are like, they don't have any Buffalo Trace. I'm like, there's Ancient Age right there. That comes from the same distillery. Because they're like, it does?
I love that.
I think for the longest time people didn't know that.
Yeah.
I constantly try to tell people like, oh, you can find Blanton's? Go get Ancient Age. It's the same product. It's just not a single barrel. And like I've convinced people to do blinds of Blanton's and Ancient Age together, and they're like, I barely notice a difference.
Yep.
I'm sure there's people that would fight me to the death about that. But
and you pay what, $50?
Yeah,
too?
well, it's a lot more now.
Yeah, I don't even know how much Blanton's is anymore.
It's like $90 now.
Oh my gosh,
it's really jumped up. Yeah.
Yeah. Another question we have here is: will there be a tasting room or customer shop available at the second location?
So great question. So the answer is we have priorities. And so the first priority was Rick House, so we need to get our barrels, stored and what have you. So that became priority one. Second priority is obviously production and getting up and running as quick as we can. We will definitely, so if you're not familiar with Cynthiana, it's out in the middle of nowhere. And so small town, kind of an exciting thing that we see is what we did to Lexington, being one of the first distilleries to kind of bring back bourbon to Lexington. We're about ready to do to Cynthiana. So if you don't know a lot of history, Cynthiana used to be kind of the Bardstown or the Louisville of bourbon back in the 1800s. It was highly populated with distilleries. It was a big bourbon kind of capital. Prohibition came, wiped them all out. And they haven't had a distillery in Cynthiana in like 50, 60, 70 years.
Wow.
And so we're going to be the first distillery up and operating in Cynthiana again for the first time in 50, 60, 70 years.
Love that.
So we're kind of excited. Again, that's kind of our story, and we're really excited about that. The town is really excited about us. They're all, can't wait for us to do tours and gift shop and all that. If you haven't seen it or visited our distillery, I think we have one of the best gift shops on the trail. So in Lexington. And so we will eventually do a gift shop and do some type of tavern may not do much of food to begin with, because that's kind of a pain. But we'll figure it out.
You need some of those like barrel Airbnbs where like people can stay in like a barrel house.
Oh, well, so yes. So we are doing that, actually, not the barrels, but yes. We are doing cabins, potential amphitheater. So
awesome.
Yes, we have a stocked pond. So that was one of the first things we did. We stocked the pond, so they'll be fishing. I mean, we're trying to, create that, some different things to do there that you can't do in Lexington.
That's great.
Yes.
That's amazing. You definitely have 2 guests that are going to stay here.
Yeah.
There you go.
And when you guys are ready to go live or like to tease to the public, if you guys are looking for someone to come and do like a walkthrough, like we'd love to come help you guys out.
Anytime.
We will send you an invitation. We would love to have you. So
yeah,
absolutely.
I'm excited at the potential of getting some of the bourbon I love, staying in like a suite right next to it, being able to go fishing, and then maybe watching music at the end of the day.
I know, right? Like, it sounds great.
That's amazing.
Yes. Yeah, we're pretty excited.
Yeah, well, I'd love that answer. We've helped kind of like peer or like peek behind the curtain a little bit for a lot of what's coming in the future, which I was hoping that you had some good news for us, but like this is all like I'm kind of flustered. This is going to be awesome.
Here, let me just grab something real quick. I'll share with you.
Sure.
So this is the rendition drawing before we broke ground. And there's a little story that kind of goes along with it.
That's awesome.
So we bought a piece of property and ran it through all the engineers and everybody. And everybody, we had it all laid out and what have you. And then before we started construction, I think it was the architect or somebody had said, "Oh, wait a minute, we can't do this." And so we didn't have enough land to do everything that we wanted to do. So we ended up buying a different piece of property across the street with a lot more acreage to it. So which now opens us up to be able to even do more than what we were originally wanting. But someone kind of missed it with some of the setbacks and what have you. And so, everything works out. So that being an original rendition, things have changed a little bit. But yes, quite exciting.
Love it.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I cannot wait.
Yeah, before we get into the next question, we're sipping on the batch 19 of Rockcastle. That's nice. 56.4. And it was a 1,188 bottle yield.
There you go.
I think the amazing thing about Rockcastle is that like it just has like this sweet dessert flavor to it, but it's not like cloyingly sweet. I always get like strawberry cheesecake from it. It's just so good, and it makes me want to drink like the entire bottle, but I know I need to like savor it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Every time we come in this room, we're like, okay, what are we gonna pour? And we both like kind of gesture towards Rockcastle, and then we're like, nope, we only have 2 bottles. We have to hold on to them. But like, honestly, like since you mentioned that it's a wheater, and we have kind of compared it to the Frey Ranch cheesecake, do you know kind of like the lore behind that?
I don't. No, share with me.
So there's like a specific barrel range. It's like 1,210 through like 1,215 that have been dubbed like the cheesecake bottles, where they say that it tastes like cheesecake and like strawberry, and it's like sweet, fruity, kind of funky. When we cracked open the batch 18, I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is phenomenal. And then we went to try the cheesecake, and I was like, this isn't as good as Rockcastle.
I was like, it's fine. I was like, I'll take Rockcastle any day.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is people will quite literally have scooped up all of the excess of the Frey Ranch to take it off of the market. I feel like if people knew how good this was, like it would be even harder to find for people at the time that it was releasing. And to know that you're already kind of getting ahead of it and you're going to scale up production to make it year round is like awesome.
Yes. We're really excited about it.
And then you did release one other thing, I believe it was this year, that Chad's also asking about, that he kind of cued us in on, We had him grab one for us when he went down to Kentucky. This is the King Solomon.
Sorry.
Okay. Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about this one?
That's got a great story. So the King Solomon story, I'll tell you first. So we knew we were going to release a rye, and we, we're trying to pick a name for it and what have you. And someone threw out, I don't remember who did it first, but they said, how about King Solomon? And if you don't know who King Solomon is, it's not the King Solomon that you think it is. He's actually buried here in Lexington, in the Lexington Cemetery, which is several hundred years old. And King Solomon was, I guess, to put it lightly, he was around the time period when the cholera outbreak had happened. Okay. And he was a grave digger down at the cemetery, and but he was also the town drunk, and all he drank was rye whiskey. And if you know anything about the cholera outbreak, millions of people were dying and they didn't know why. They couldn't figure it out. Like they were, trying to figure out, and they didn't know. Well, what happened was it was in the water. So most people were consuming the water and then dying off and not realizing it. Well, he didn't drink water. He drank rye whiskey. So he actually kind of outlived everybody, but he was passionate about making sure everybody got a proper burial. So he was kind of the one to make sure that as people were dying off, that he was making sure that everybody got a proper burial and what have you. And so he's kind of the local folklore hero of the cemetery, basically. And there's been books written about him. There's local stories of some of the local famous people over the years and what have you. And so he's known as King Solomon. And he's got a headstone down there, and most of that came off of, that's on our bottle label, came from that, that we took word for word on his story, basically. And we decided that, if we're going to come out with a rye whiskey, we got to call it King Solomon, because we just thought that was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the story of King Solomon.
That's so funny. When Chad brought this up from Kentucky for us, I instantly thought of like cholera, and I was like, that can't be right. Like, I'm not going to say this out loud, but I'm so glad that you validated me.
Yes, you are 100% correct.
I was like, no way. That had to be England or something. The fact that it comes from like Kentucky, and I can actually visit this site too, and maybe pour one out for him at his on his grave. Maybe he'll really like that. Yeah, maybe. He has to be thirsty by now, right?
The other unique characteristic of that one is that we actually use Kentucky rye, which is not very prevalent. So it's hard to get Kentucky rye, and so it's made with Kentucky rye.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because I'm going to highlight our screen here for a minute so people can see how cool this label is. So not only is the artwork like completely distinct and different from every other rye whiskey that we've seen, or basically just about any other bottle of whiskey that we've seen, but the flavor of what you get inside of it is like completely different and distinct from any other like Kentucky-based rye that I've ever had. And obviously, like, we're filtering some of that through the outsourcing of grains versus like proprietary methods or yeast or things like that. But like, can you tell us more about the process for this one that makes it just that much more unique?
I really don't know. I mean, I don't know what would be a contributing factor to making it so unique compared to, everything else that we've already discussed, as far as, obviously it was made on our pot still, it was made with Kentucky rye. It's, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that we did that would be like, oh, this is what made that one so special, other than the Kentucky rye, because it's, Kentucky rye is hard to come by.
I think the pot still definitely has like an aspect in that, knowing that it's like just different. I don't think I've had, other than like Willet, a rye that's on a pot still top of mind. Right.
But yeah, this is definitely like way different than a Willet.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only story I can share with you on it is it is definitely by far the longest label we've spent time on.
It shows.
We spent, I think, 5 or 6 months designing that label. A lot went into it. We had hand artists that actually drew it, and we had one that we weren't happy with. We hired another one, and so there was a lot that went into the artwork of it. But at the end of it, we're very, very pleased with the look of it. I think it's a beautiful bottle.
I think it's so eye-catching, and I love the skeleton on it as well. It's just like a little like.
Oh yeah,
pumping the water.
There's a little skeleton on the back here.
Yes, at the water pump.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a really cool one, and you can actually see there's like a little image of like him digging in the grave.
Yep.
So I love like the flavor and the flair of this, and like everything that you guys did with it, because it's just honestly really, really distinct. The first time we cracked this open, we were like, okay, I'm gonna need some time to kind of unravel what I find inside the bottle, because it's complex, but it's also approachable. It has this almost like kind of smokiness to it, which I haven't really had from a rye.
An herbal, almost like a lavender aspect to it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's like sweet, it's floral, it's a little savory. It's got so much complexity to it. And when Chad was down in Kentucky doing his annual rock castle excursion, he was like, yeah, I went to Elkhorn and they have this. Do you want it? And I was like, I don't know. Do I? I kind of want everything that they make. Yeah, why not? Like, let's go for it. And I'm very happy with it. It's definitely one of the most unique and interesting ryes that I've ever had. And I frequently think about it when I compare it to other ryes. Like we just had the 10-year-old New Riff, which is like good, but it is not even remotely close to this in terms of uniqueness. Yeah. And I think that that's kind of a sign of the calling card of your brand is we're going to do it the way that we see fit. We're not going to do anything to kind of try to compete with the other people that are in our lane. You're kind of like, for lack of a better phrase, the other brands are like the jocks that are in the back of the class that are like just joking around and like making everything kind of into like the butt of a joke. And you guys are like in the corner, like drawing and like making music and like writing lyrics. And you're just like, we do our own thing. Like, we don't care what you guys are doing.
So we're the nerds of it, huh?
But nerds make good things and they get it done.
Was Bob Dylan a nerd?
Well, Bob Dylan.
I know, right?
Word generator. That's different.
Yeah. Now, if you look at that bottle, it's a numbered bottle. If you look to see how many we made, I can't remember, but it wasn't a lot.
This is a 503 of 505.
Wow, we got.
There you go. So we only made 505 bottles of it.
That's awesome. Yeah, this is really good stuff. You guys are making really, really stellar products, and I think that it obviously shows that you can pick up any version of the expressions of your brand and still have an experience that's like incredibly unique. You can taste the amount of care and like precision that goes into it. And like we said, some people have created all this myth and folklore behind your brand. I'm glad that we've had you here to kind of dissuade it and show people that like, even though all of these rumors are going around, nothing beats the source. Nothing beats like the straight from the horse's mouth bit of information. Yeah. And we've had a great time talking to you on this. We had a great time talking to you in Party Source, and we honestly look really forward to coming and checking out your new distillery when it's open. Yeah. And I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit. I don't know how much you want to talk about this on camera, but we would really, really, really love to be able to get a single barrel from you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me talk about that because I figured that was going to come up. So 17 years we've been making bourbon, and the first 15 years we didn't do any barrel picks. And again, it kind of goes back to we just didn't have the extra juice to give away. So again, kind of one of the things that separates us from a lot of the other distilleries is they hand them out like candy. Like you can go and just pick them up, and especially the ones that are buying juice and finishing it or doing something with it, and then they have unlimited supply, and we just don't. And so we kind of have held on to them very, very tight. We are doing a barrel pick program. I've created a barrel pick program. We should be able to possibly do something for you guys here shortly.
That would be amazing.
And so, yes. And so in the Barrelhouse tradition, my barrel pick program is because we want it to be unique. We want it to be not just another product that's our product that's out on the market or what have you, is we have created a product that will offer for barrel picks only. So if you do a barrel pick with with Barrelhouse, it's going to be something completely unique that you can't just walk into a store and buy, which is kind of really cool for us. So that was kind of one of the intentions that I wanted to create. Totally different looking label. So it won't be, the same as the blue label or the green label or the Rockcastle label, completely different looking label. And it'll be coming very, very soon. We are kind of kicking that program off starting tomorrow and over the next week. Let's put it that way.
Awesome.
And I will talk about that off camera if you want.
Yeah, we'll be happy in 3 weeks.
But the bottom line is yes, there is an opportunity there, I think, coming up. And so that'll be exciting for both of us.
Yeah,
very cool.
We're super excited. I mean, like we said, everything that you guys make is like very unique and very enjoyable. So I'm sure whatever you still offer for a single barrel is going to be equally as like indicative of your thumbprint on your style of making whiskey. So, I mean, honestly, we have complete faith in everything that you guys make.
Thank you.
I look forward to talking about this more with you, and also about eventually going down there and tasting through some stuff.
Yeah, I'm not going to be mad about it.
Well, a little side note, if you don't mind me asking, I think you said you all are doing or have already done a barrel pick with Dark Arts. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So they just recently became our neighbor.
Right.
So I don't know if you knew that or not or whatever. So just keep that in mind if you're planning on coming to pick up, or however you're doing that, that I expect a phone call.
for that one, we just had samples sent to us and we just kind of picked through it. If we would have known that this is the trajectory that our life would have taken over the last like 3-4 months, we for sure would have just been like, James,
hey James,
we're gonna be right next door to you.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Anything that you want to add, James, before we let you enjoy your night?
I just want to say thanks again for having me, and we really appreciate it, and we appreciate our fans. So, to you guys, to Chad, to everybody that enjoys our products, we really appreciate you, and we'll keep doing what we do and keep making bourbon. So we'll do what we do.
Yeah, we love you guys too.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. All right, I think this is a good place for us to stop the stream here. James, we're going to say goodbye to you for now. If you want to hang out on the backstage, we'll be with you in a minute to kind of talk about some other stuff.
Great.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you guys are heading through Kentucky, if Lexington is within your means of checking out, check out Elkhorn, check out Barrelhouse, show their gift shop some love, show their products some love. Even if you're just passing through Louisville, stop in a liquor barn, stop in any larger scale place to look for, basically all of the products. They're solid. We had zero doubt that you were going to completely blow out all of the Thunderdome segment. And obviously blinds are a little more skewing towards the raw impression of it, but we're still happy to see that you guys completely won by a landslide.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
All right, James, we'll see you again in a moment.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Okay. Is it giveaway time?
Yeah, it is giveaway time. So we are going to go into the giveaway here. Give me just a second to cue that up.
If you haven't already, remember to put barrel in the comments. Sometimes it's weird. So put your name in again. We are giving away the small batch, the cast strength, a rock castle, and the King Solomon. So you'll get to try everything that we tried tonight.
So we will be doing this in just a moment here. I'm trying to queue up our giveaway tool. Man, what a fun time.
I know. It was so much information. I cannot wait to go to the new distillery and like hang out, get some like good music, hang out in a cute cabin.
I mean, honestly, yeah, the fishing to me is going to be like the best part of all of that.
I cannot fish. I've tried a few times and it doesn't work, but I'll watch you fish.
I'm trying to remember how we access this. Sorry, guys, it's been a minute since we've used this this tool here. Where do we do the giveaways? Yeah, guys, let us know in the chat which one you're most interested in trying. We're still going to give an entire pack away here, so you guys can try basically everything and not have to go to Kentucky. So we would we'd love to be able to hook some people up with some samples here. Looks like I only see 23 entries. That doesn't look right. Let's refresh it. This site always has a couple of issues here.
It does.
Maybe it's time to move away from StreamYard. Still says 23. So let's do one quick last blast here. That is capital for all the letters, barrel.
1 L.
One
Because I
L.
would put 2 L's.
2 R's, 1 L. I love that. You sold me on all of them. That's amazing. I mean, honestly, they kind of sell themselves. We went in to Party Source only looking for Rock Castle and Barrelhouse if we could find it. And then we got to try all of them. And we're like, okay, which ones do we leave with? So they make really good stuff. Even their non-whiskey stuff is amazing.
Yeah. If you see the rye, it's definitely an instant pickup too.
Chad, you continue to be a gentleman and like the goat for all of these things. I'm super excited for whoever wins this. All right, so we're going to count it down in about 30 more seconds. I see 28 entries here.
I'm seeing it tick up. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, that was great. James is awesome.
I mean, there's so much rich information that I didn't even know. I feel like we've been like telling so many people, at least we haven't been telling anyone misinformation, like some books, you know?
Yeah, I'm glad. That was a crazy day when we met him. So I'm glad I could retain as much information as I could.
Yeah.
Like I've been telling people like roughly like 4 to 6 year barrels. I did remember saying like only 3 barrels in the small batch. But even then I was like, am I saying the right thing? Is that right?
I never like to say ages because I always feel like I'm going to get it wrong. Like you never state like a woman's age. I feel like you should do that with whiskey too.
I don't even ask, except for when they're like, I'm old. I'm like, oh, are you? How old would you say you are?
Like 29. And they're like, oh my God, I'm 65. You're like, yes.
All right. So let's see if I can get technology to be on my side. Share screen. There we go.
Okay. Are you ready?
Okay, cool. So how many do you want to give away? 1?
1 of like the full thing.
How about 2?
2?
2.
Okay.
All right, guys. 2. We're dipping into our stock. We're giving away 2 packs from Barrelhouse. And the first name is going to be... Wesley.
Oh, I love that. Wesley, just send me a chat on Discord, just a private.
Well, first leave a comment here to let us know that you're still watching. That's awesome. Wesley's a great dude.
Yeah, he is such a good dude. And then just send me your address as well.
We have lots of love in the chat, including our MVP for most wins on live streams.
I will also throw in a free Bonding Over Bourbon Glencairn.
Ooh, those aren't even available for sale yet.
Mm-hmm.
Wesley, we're going to give you about 30 more seconds here. I really hope you're in the chat. I want to get you some tasty whiskey.
I'm sure he is. We could always reach out.
That's true. We do know how to get a hold of him. All right. Should we move on to the next one then?
Yeah.
Okay. You can head to his Rock Castle sample. Love that. All right. So we're going to go again. Let's see who the next winner is for the Barrelhouse Sample Flight Pack. Night Method.
Night Method, send me an email to bondingoverbourbonpodcast@gmail.com with your address, and I will send over the Barrelhouse samples as well as the Bonding Over Bourbon Glencairn.
Yeah, we're sending out a couple extra special things here with these Glencairns. So now you have a nice, shiny new glass to enjoy them with.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Woohoo, will do. Love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, guys. This has been pretty fun.
It's been a great night. I feel like it was super fun.
Yeah, I'm always having a good time when I'm drinking Rock Castle.
Same.
On a plane and worth the stream. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. You guys are all the best. We feel like we have the best fans on all of YouTube. So we're very, very appreciative that you joined us for this. You got a chance to listen to the awesome story behind this brand and just listen to how incredibly engaging James is. He's a really solid dude.
Honestly.
Yeah. So thank you so much for watching us. We are Bonding Over Bourbon, and we will catch you next time.
Have a good night.